Hey listener, welcome to this podcast. I am extremely glad and I am excited that you are with me, and I love to talk about what I'm going to do, what we are going to talk about, what we are going to communicate about. So, I really want to give you an introduction. ये एक introductory episode है of the episodes about to come. This is the start of a series, and in this series we'll break down. You and I, Milke, will break down one of the most common problems I think we face in society. And not a problem, it's a crisis. I believe it's a crisis. So, before we get into it, if anybody of you has some questions or if anybody of you wants to communicate your ideas to or talk, I love to learn from you. Seriously, I'll be humbled. I really want you to, I'll push you to do it. If any ideas you have, throw them in the comments, throw them into my DM, message me, text me, just contact me somewhere, and I'll be really glad to get back to you. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing I want you to see, and I saw that, and I see this, and even today, adults are not really happy in their lives. Not all adults, most of them. A majority of them, I think. And I'll tell you some of the research that's been going around, and these are facts that the depression and anxiety rates are increasing. And they are constantly increasing. They're not only increasing, they're constantly increasing. And suicide rates are increasing as well. And if we really break down the reason to it, we see adults going and working for a job of 9 to 5. I'll encourage you to do so. Look around you, in your family, in your friends, anyone who is an adult. It's a must. He should be an adult, or else he won't be having a job. Look for an adult and ask him if he is really happy. If he is really happy in his job, I mean, he'll tell you some basic things, and it's okay, and it's how life's supposed to be and all that. But you'll see it from the way he tells you. If he's really passionate and excited about his job, you'll see that from his body and from his tone of voice. If he's not, you'll see that too, isn't it? If a man is passionate and excited, just think in your mind right now, just stop what you're doing, listen to me, and think into your mind. What do you think a man who's excited and passionate to do something, what would he be like? Would he be smiling? Would you feel a sense of energy around him when he does his thing, or when he's really excited? Would he be jumping off? Yes, extremely possible. And what about when you ask an adult who's really not happy with his 9 to 5 job? Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's fine, it's fine, but I think that's how life's supposed to be, and I get along, and life's great. It's just great. That's how they'll go. And the reason for this, these adults not really being happy or not really being happy with their jobs, I think, is that we spend most of our lives, not most of our lives, we spend the first early 2.5 decades, 25 years approximately, and some may decide to stick long, some may, but the average number, I think, is this. We spend his life getting an education, a public education, as if you call it. We go to school, we go to college, we go to the university, and then we get a degree so that we can get a job. And this school system, this actually promises us to give what? Tell me, to give what? A better future. It promises us to give better future, a safe future. And मैंने कहीं पढ़ा है किसी स्कूल के बोर्ड्स पे एंड कॉलेज के बोर्ड्स पे कि a shining future, a bright future. I mean, seriously, bright करें इसे. It's not bright enough. bright करें इसे. These adults are not really happy. They come to you for 24 years, and what do you teach them? If not happiness, then what? And if happiness is not the key to life, if happiness is not the key to the best life ever and the better life, then what is? A huge amount of money? Is that going to really make you happy? You can have loads of money, and by loads I mean loads of money, and you cannot really be happy. You can feel miserable. A better life, an extraordinary life, is an extraordinary quality of emotion. Happiness is an emotion, and it's the best emotion of all. If your emotional home is happiness, you have a happy life. You have an extraordinary life. So school promises us to give that, but when we see that it doesn't really give us this, we might sense that some things are going wrong. I sense a lot of things are going wrong. There's this interesting study which found that सिर्फ 27% college graduates, and college graduates meaning college plus university, I mean all of that, जब आप सारे प्रोसेस से गुजर के वो यूनिवर्सिटी वो जो डिग्री ले लेते हैं, सिर्फ 27% get a job about what they studied in. Only 27%, or the rest 73%, they go out and they do something else. Maybe one of them will go to make Microsoft, maybe one of them will go and work a low cost job, a low end job which doesn't actually gives you happiness, and they think that if they performed much better in their education system, they might be happy. So they have all of this, their brains are programmed. That's what I think education system does. It programs your brain. Another interesting study that was held, and it found out that and this was a study in America, that the average GPA of an American millionaire, 500 American millionaires में ये स्टडी हुई, और उनका जो एवरेज GPA था वो था 2.9, और अमेरिका में this is below average. I mean, if you have a 2.9 GPA, you didn't secure a good life. You'll just balance in and out. And these guys, these are millionaires. I mean, they have loads of money, and they also, not only money, they are happy too. They practice happiness as well. If school doesn't promises anything else, and it only promises you to give financial stability in the future, and if it doesn't actually, the people who have the most financial stability in and they have a low grade, then what is really happening here? Don't you sense something wrong? Isn't it? It is. So there's this dropout crisis in America, and they're trying really hard to deal with it. And the dropout crisis, and I think the dropout crisis is just the tip. It's the people, it's the students who are really not happy in school, and they are so fed up in school, they want to drop out, or they cannot perform well in school and they drop out. And this is just the tip of a real problem which we have to look at, that many students, all of the students, millions of people around the world are students, and they go into these public education systems and they are not really happy with their life. I personally am not. I am happy with my life, but I am not happy with the 8 to 2 in the morning. I hope you get me. जिस टाइम कॉलेज जाना पड़ता है, it feels like hell. ये मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस भी है. And combined with all of this, so school isn't really practicing happiness, and इसलिए फिर शायद हमें एडल्ट लाइफ में भी नहीं मिलती. देयर कैन बी मोर रीजंस एडल्ट लाइफ में, then there can be many reasons, but I think this reason also contributes to that, all of that. School isn't really giving what it's promising us. It promises us a bright future, and we don't really have a bright future. We just have a going future. I mean, it's a get along future. You just have to get along with your future or with your life, and we just go in the flow of the river. Don't have anything, just shut up, take a deep breath, go with the flow. You're not supposed to talk. People don't really feel a control of their lives, at their lives. You are listening to me, and as you listen to me, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you think that creativity and imagination is one of the most useful resources as being human beings? I mean, it distinguishes us from other species. Creativity is, I mean, a dog cannot be creative. Could it be? A dog, it can feel emotions, but it cannot be creative with that. I asked you this question, and I really want you to answer me. Isn't creativity and imagination is what distinguishes us from other creature or other life on planet Earth? Isn't it? So, on a level of 1 to 10, how high do you think it is an important resource? On a level of 1 to 10, how high? Come on, tell me, how high? A 10. I believe it's a 10. And there's this interesting study which shows that this study was, by the way, was conducted by NASA, and they had this test कि जब उन्होंने engineers को hire करना होता था, they took a creativity test, and the guy who designed this test, he came up with some questions कि creativity आती कहाँ से है, does it come from life experiences, all of these just basic questions. And to answer this, NASA decided to, उन्होंने कहा कि हम ये टेस्ट 1600 स्टूडेंट्स पे of 4 to 5 years of age of children, हम उन पे ये creativity test conduct करवाते हैं. And when they conducted, what was the result? A fabulous 98% score. And 98%, only 2% of them lacked. 98% of them, they scored outstanding on the creativity test. So the scientists at NASA, they were also really astonished by this, and they decided it to be an longitudinal study. उन्होंने कहा कि हम यही सेम टेस्ट इन्हीं सेम 1600 स्टूडेंट्स पे आफ्टर अ टाइम पीरियड ऑफ 4 to 5 years हम फिर से करवाएंगे. एंड आफ्टर 5 years जब उन्होंने ये टेस्ट करवाया, द रिजल्ट ड्रॉप टू 30%, a lag from 98% to 30%. All of these children. And when the test was conducted again after 5 years, the result dropped to a sad 12% only, सिर्फ 12%. Children who used to score 98%, और 10 साल बाद सिर्फ 12% स्कोर कर रहे हैं. And what about adults? Adults का जो स्कोर है इस creativity test पे, it is only 2%. Only 2%. This just leaves us with some really, really big questions that stare us in the face कि हम स्कूल में क्या कर रहे हैं. If we are not taught about, if the number one resource, human resource, is not instilled in us, what is our reason to go there? If it doesn't give us a better future, if it doesn't instills in us the number one resource of a human being which distinguishes him from any other life, what are we actually doing there? And this is not me saying it, this is not just me saying it. There are great leaders around the planet, around the globe, who are living today, who say this. And if we look at some of the leaders who run our world, And some of the most successful and highly happy people, highly happy and very successful, these are just new terms, I invented them. Okay, so just show me some love, give me some credit for them. If you look at highly successful and extremely happy people who are the best at what they do, they'll not credit school. For example, if we look at the richest man on planet Earth, Bill Gates, he was a college dropout. If we look at someone very similar, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, he was a college dropout as well. Tesla, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, none of them would approve school of their success. None of them would approve that school provided them some resources or provided them something. It doesn't mean that you don't get good experiences in school. I'm sure you get great experiences, but the answer is the school doesn't providing what it promises you to. And when it doesn't provide what it promises you to, I think we really need a change. Not only a change, we need a revolution. And you might say that ये शायद जो लोग बिजनेस में हैं शायद उनके लिए ही काम करता है, not for us normal peoples. If we look at science, physics, Albert Einstein, the father of modern day physics, he will tell you a similar story. He actually fought with his teachers because he had a curiosity inside of him and he questioned everything, and he looked and he saw that what was happening in school is wrong, and we need to see that too. Other scientists will tell you the same story. I promise you, you can just look them up. They'll tell you something very similar to this. And if we look at Winston Churchill, if we look at Abraham Lincoln, if we look at Charles Dickens, if we look at Charles Darwin, if we look at Mark Twain. By the way, Mark Twain is so savage. I love his quote, and he says that never let your schooling interfere with your education. Never let your schooling interfere with your education. And he's so damn right. Education comes from the Greek word educator, and it means bring out the best in you, to bring out the best in you. And now let me ask you something. Is school really bringing out the best in you, or did it brought out the best in you? I don't think so. Right? And all of these successful and happy and all of these great people, great minds, they tell us the same story. Same story, just in different words. So I really think that there are these reasons, and there are more than these reasons. We are going to break them down episode by episode. I really want you to stay with me and go on this journey with me. And I really want you to communicate. And this is just not me speaking, it is me learning from you guys as well. Thank you, and I'll love to see you on the next episode. Thank you for your time.